Okay, it's live now.
Oh, it's live?
Okay.
Oh, it is live. Okay.
Okay.
Hi everybody, Debbie Reynolds with Rocky Mountain Lodge here. Thanks for hanging on while we work through our little technical difficulties here. I'm so glad you guys are here today. We're going to make a really nice fancy dessert. One of those ones that you can order at restaurants that cost a little bit more at nice restaurants, but you're going to be so surprised at how easy they are to make. So we're going to make creme brulee, and it only takes 4 ingredients. We're going to use some heavy whipping cream. We have 2.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 very expensive vanilla bean, and 8 eggs. And that's all we're going to need to make this delicious dessert. And you can find this recipe at our website, rockymountainlodge.com, and click on the recipes tab. You can also find recipes like this in our cookbook, Rocky Mountain Lodge and Cabin's More Favorite Recipes. This is our second version of our cookbook. This has 500 recipes in it. You can purchase this at our gift shop on our website, rockymountainlodge.com, and click on the gift shop tab to purchase this. Enter the promo code Facebook Cooking and you can take $5 off. So you can get that today, 500 recipes like this one in there, and this recipe is on the website, rockymountainlodge.com. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take our whipping cream, 2.5 cups, and we are going to pour this into a pot right here so that we can warm this on the stove. All right, and there's going to be some more in there, but we're not going to worry about that. I'll set this aside, and then we are going to take our, like I said, very expensive whole vanilla bean. These didn't used to be so expensive. I paid $10 yesterday for this 1 vanilla bean at the grocery store, so be prepared. I didn't used to have to pay that much, but that's what they are right now. But I do buy these on special occasions when I want to make items like this. You can get these less expensive online though. I looked at Penzeys Spices, where I like to buy a lot of my spices, and you can get 3 of these for about $21, and they're really good quality from Penzeys. So that's where I'll be buying mine in the future. I just was out, so I had to hurry up and get one from the store. So what we're going to do is we are just going to split this vanilla bean down the middle, because all of the seeds are inside, and that is what we are going to use to season our cream. And I don't know if you can see these little black seeds that are in there. That's called the caviar, but that's where all the good stuff is. So we want to split that in half so that way we can release some of these. Whoops. And I'm just going to drop this right into our vanilla. Just give it a little stir. And then I'm going to put this on the stove to cook. We're going to get it just to a simmer. We don't want it to boil, but this is going to loosen up all of those. A little light would help. All right, and so we'll let that simmer, and while that's simmering, you can see there's a little bit left in here, and that's okay. Now, what I need to do next is I'm going to separate my eggs, because what we need are 8 egg yolks. So not the whites. I'll end up saving the whites, and I will use those to make meringue cookies, or I'll put them in some cakes. And if you whip them first, just the egg whites, and fold them into your cake batter, it's going to make your cake nice and light and fluffy and souffle-like. This is the way I like to separate my eggs. I have clean hands. I just get in here and separate my eggs. And I'll put my yolks in here. I put them in here first just so that way I can make sure I don't have any shells before I save my whites. And so I just decided to go ahead and do all of these here while I'm talking to you. That will give my cream chance to get warmed. And so there's lots of different ways you can separate eggs. My mom used to just go back and forth, but in the shells. But I find that when I've done that before, the little sharp edges will sometimes break my yolks. And so I have found this way works best. You can buy an egg separator, but why wash more dishes? I already have a bunch of dishes that I have to wash. It's not fun. All right, And so now I'll tell you about a couple of other creme brulees that I like to do. This vanilla bean creme brulee is the most common creme brulee. It's, like I said, so easy to make. This is the most time-consuming part right here, separating your eggs. And so it's not too hard to do, just takes a little bit of time. I have my oven. Oops, I guess I forgot to put those in there. So, yolks. So, I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I actually like to preheat my oven quite a bit hotter than I need it when I'm going to do this recipe. It has to cook at 350 degrees, but I have my oven temperature right now at 400 degrees because once you open that oven, it's going to drop your temperature by 25 degrees when you first open your oven, and then it's going to continue to drop. And so I'm going to have my oven open for about a minute while I'm putting the brulees in there and then pouring in some water for the water bath for them to cook in. And I'll show you about that later. And so then I can turn it down to 350, and it should be right about 350 then when I go ahead and start. But I make lots of different kinds of creme brulees. This, like I said, is your basic creme brulee, vanilla bean creme brulee. Then there is a sweet pumpkin creme brulee that I like to make in the fall. That one's really good. And then I also like to make, I have a Kahlua espresso creme brulee that I make. Let me wash my hands here. A chocolate coffee creme brulee. There's lots of kinds of creme brulees that you can make. But we're going to start off with just the basic one here. Alright, so I've got all of my eggs separated. Get this out of the way. I'm going to come over here and give my cream just a little stir because I don't want it to boil. I just want it to simmer, and I'll be back over there. We'll bring this back over to the sink when it's warm. Actually, let me grab this. So now to our egg yolks, and I've just used the same bowl that I used my cream because I just don't want to dirty another dish, and you really don't need to. It's all going to be combined anyways. So now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar, and that's all of our ingredients. We didn't need very much at all. So I'm just going to mix these up. And then right here, I have 8 ramekins ready. Depending on the size of the ramekins you use, you can make anywhere from 6 to 8 of these. I have 8 here. The last batch I did yesterday, I was able to get 7 out of them. And so, but I put 8 in here. These ones are a little smaller, so we'll see how many I can get out of this. So you just want to put these in a tray that has a high side because we're going to end up filling this on the edges, on the outside of these with water. So you need something that's going to hold that water. So we've got our little ramekins here. They're 6-ounce ramekins, so that's what we want there. And let me go ahead and grab this cream, see how it's doing. It's just about there. I'm going to go ahead and stir that, and then I'll bring it right back over. So while I'm working on this, I'm going to ask you for a little poll here. I put a poll out on my Facebook page to see what to make next week. And so since Valentine's Day is coming up right around the corner, my husband and I have this little tradition where we don't go out for Valentine's just because it's so busy and so crazy. Hard to get a reservation. Everything is so expensive. Maybe not so much with COVID right now. It might not be quite so busy, but I guarantee it's still expensive. So we stay home for Valentine's Day, and I make fondue. I'll make a cheese fondue. I'll buy a nice steak. I'll buy a filet mignon. I'll make some dipping sauces to go with that. And then we'll have a dark chocolate fondue for dessert. So that's our Valentine's tradition. And so I put a poll out there for next week to either make some fondue for our live video or to make chocolate sundae pudding cakes, which are an easier version of a chocolate lava cake, but you still get the same dark, rich, gooey chocolate fudge sauce on the bottom, but it's easier and more forgiving. So those are the 2 things. So if you're watching this video, put in the comments if you want to see me make fondue next week or chocolate sundae pudding cakes. Right now we're kind of at about 50-50, and so I've only had a few people put in their requests. So make sure that you let me know what you'd like to see me make, and that's what we'll do next week. So the jury is out for next week. You have a say. All right, so I'm going to bring over this cream. So it's gotten to just a tiny little simmer. We don't want it to boil, but you can see that a lot of the seeds from that vanilla bean have kind of started to come out in there and flavor our cream. So now I'm going to fish out the vanilla bean from in there. All right, and then I'm just going to take this here. Don't worry about me. My hands are, they can handle a lot of this stuff. So just use the back of your knife now and scrape out all of these little vanilla bean seeds right there. We call them the caviar. That's the best part of the vanilla bean. All right, now don't throw away this little pod right here. You want to keep this pod, and because we had it in cream, I'll rinse it off in some cold water, and then I will just set it out to dry. And once it's dry, I'll show you one that I did yesterday. All right, so yesterday I did this, and here's my vanilla bean from yesterday. So now it's all dried out, and I take it and I put it in sugar, and I call this vanilla sugar. We're having a little more technical difficulties with my phone here. All right, and so I just take it and I just put it right in here into my vanilla sugar. You can see I've got some other ones in there. So I might have to break this one in half a little bit. So I'll stick it in there, and it's going to flavor your sugar. I know you can't smell it on TV, but so I'll just keep this in here, and then I top my pie crust with this. I'll sprinkle it on some cookies. I even put it on my biscuits for my strawberry shortcake. So many things you can do with vanilla sugar. I love to use that vanilla sugar for so many things. And so use that vanilla bean. It's $10. Don't throw it out. Okay, so now we have our cream. And we have, I'm going to grab a spatula right here. So we have our cream here with our vanilla beans, all of the seeds from inside of that pod. And now what we're going to do is we want to do what's called tempering your eggs. You don't want to pour this warm milk into here too fast because it will curdle your eggs. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to slowly pour this in my eggs while I'm stirring it. I'm going to use this here. Slowly pour it in while I'm stirring it. We're just going to kind of drizzle it in. So we're going to slowly warm up our egg yolks, because if we do it too fast, our eggs will curdle. And we don't want them to be curdled. We want this cream to be nice and smooth. So we'll just put all of this in here. And I will get out all of those vanilla beans, pod seeds that we have in here. That's the gold for this recipe that makes them taste so good. All right. And then we're just going to stir that. And now we're going to strain it back in here, because sometimes there might be little flecks or pieces from the pod of that vanilla bean, or even some of the egg yolks may, if they curdle, this is your way to get out of it. So you don't have to tell anybody you have a secret. In case your eggs do curdle a little bit, just strain them into a strainer. And now what you have back in your pot is all the nice smooth stuff. So you can see there's a couple little specks in there that we have of some of the pod is still in there. All right, so what we have left now is the good stuff that we're going to pour into our custard dishes here. So now I'm just going to divide this evenly between our ramekins here. It's about a half a cup for each one that we're going to put in here. Sometimes I can get 7, sometimes I can get 8. It just depends on the size of the ramekins that you have. If you really want to get 8 out of it, I'll even scoop a little bit out of some and just fill them as much as you can to get as many as you need. I think we should be able to get 8 out of this one today. I'll just kind of pour this in here. This last one has a lot of vanilla beans, so this is like the one that's the best one. That one has lots of vanilla beans in it. Or vanilla seeds. So those will be some of the best ones. Alright, and so then I'm just going to pop these in the oven. What I have here is I have a tea kettle that I have water boiling in. So I'm going to bring this over so I have it ready. You want to do this by your oven because if you do it ahead of time, it's difficult to carry it and you might spill, and you don't want to spill any of that water into your ramekins. So now what I'm going to do, I talked about the oven temperature dropping. So I'll put these in here. My oven is about 50 degrees hotter than I need it to be. And now I'm just going to carefully pour water in here, kind of slowly. You want to bring this about halfway up the sides of your ramekins so they're going to cook in this water bath. And that just helps them from getting too hot on the edges and being able to cook thoroughly through the middle. And now we'll just close the door. I'll change my temperature down to 350. And that will cook for about 20 minutes. I'll set the timer on here for 20 minutes. And that will cook there. Now, by the magic of video, I have some done that I made yesterday. So what we're going to do with those, and I'll tell you what we'll do before I get to this point, is those are cooking in the oven. They're going to cook for anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes. But when you take them out of the oven, you want them to be able to be very jiggly in the middle. So they'll still be pretty jiggly in the middle. You take them out and you're going to leave them in the water bath until they're cool. Once they're cool, then you can take them out of the water bath and then put them in the refrigerator. I covered them up with some saran wrap. Put them in the refrigerator and let them chill. I like to take them out of the refrigerator about half an hour before I want to serve them, just to take the chill off of the glass ramekins, so that way they don't crack when I fire them, because we're going to use fire. Oh, I forgot my mint. I've got fresh mint over here growing. I was going to go grab some. So you want to let these chill. I like to usually make this overnight, let them chill overnight, or you can make them in the morning and they'll be ready by dessert for dinner. And so I just have some sugar in the raw, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on each one of these. It's about a half of a tablespoon per ramekin. As you can see, I don't really measure. I just kind of sprinkle away. So now you can use raw sugar. You can even use the vanilla sugar on these. Any of that sugar is pretty good. I just happen to like the raw sugar because it's a bigger chunks. The consistency of the sugar is a little bigger, and so it crisps up and gives you better chunks when you want to fire it. All right, so there we go. So now we have our sugar sprinkled on all of these, and now this is the part that's a lot of fun. Just make sure you don't have kids around when you're doing this, but you're going to take your blowtorch. They make small little blowtorches that you can get too from the cooking stores. I started out with those, and I would just run out of the gas in them pretty quickly. So I just grabbed my husband's and I just stole his. So he has to borrow his own propane torch whenever he needs it from me, because I keep it here in the kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and turn this on and fire it up. So just be careful, don't get your hair in the way. So I'll turn this down just a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to fire these. And what we're going to do is we're going to caramelize that sugar, or crystallize that sugar. Actually, I'll take it off there. It'll be easier to do it when it's off. So you can see what's happening there. We're just caramelizing that sugar a little bit. Okay. And then I'll show you the little crack it'll make when you're done. That's kind of the fun part about when you get into these, is that it will crack when you want to take it, when you want to get into it. And then what's nice too is the outside of these will be crispy and warm, and then the inside will be nice and cool because they've been in the refrigerator. I really like that contrast. So pretty easy. You can see creme brulee now. Might look like a super fancy dessert. I'll just stop there for now. And we can finish all the rest a little later. So, and then what happens here is you can garnish these with some mint and some berries if you'd like. And then put some sprigs of mint there. I could go over in my dining room and get some mint, but I'll just skip that for now. And they just look so pretty, especially when you get that green mint on there, but I forgot about that. So we're just gonna put these on there. And there we have our creme brulee. And the thing about this creme brulee is when you want to get into these, you're gonna hear this crunch. You hear how crispy that is? And then you just crunch through it, and then you get that crispy on top, and then the vanilla cream custard down in the bottom, and pretty heavenly. So now you know how to make creme brulee. Pretty easy, not hard at all. You can do it at home. All you need is these 4 ingredients and a blowtorch for some fire. If you don't have a blowtorch, you can always just put them under the broiler and let them do their thing, but it might take just a little bit longer to do that. So get yourself a blowtorch, grab one from the tool shed, and you'll be good there. So make sure you like this video, share this video, make some comments on there if you want to see me make fondue or chocolate sundae pudding cakes next week. And you can get our cookbook on our website, RockyMountainLodge.com. Click on the gift shop tab, enter Facebook Cooking in the promo code to take $5 off. And you can find this recipe on our website under our recipes tab. Thanks for showing up everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.